Ditto on the district chairs we want to announce. Number 3, a state legislator endorsement. And then the fourth part will be making Dr. Paul available to the press, to you folks, for some Q&A, okay? On the first portion, I'm just really pleased to tell you that within only 10 days since the campaign was officially kicked off on on May 13th, that we have already had over 100 county co-chairs surface come to us and say, look, I want to volunteer for this campaign. I want to be a part of it. And so of that over 100, actually the last count I have is 112, but let's just say 100. About 35, 40 are here today. Take the time and the energy and the trouble to arrive. And I want to thank them. They have name tags on with the little county, their name and their county. And Dr. Paul will be shaking the hands of those folks on the way out after we do this press. The second piece then, and again, I want to thank all of you county coordinators who co-chairs who have come for coming today. Thank you. Second then is the second component is the district co-chairs, and we have 8 of those, 2 in each of the 4 districts. And you have in your hands a brief bio. You should have had. If you don't have in your hands, we have them up here of those 8 people. And I'm just going to introduce them personally. You've got again the bio in your hand. But in the first district, we have a congressional candidate, former congressional candidate Will Johnson from Dubuque, and his partner is Dr. Michael Allen from near the Waterloo area. He moved out into the country. Mike Allen was not able to be with us today, Dr. Allen. In the second district, we have businessman Marcus. Marcus, where are you at? Hey, Marcus, come on up here. Come on up here. Marcus Fedler, businessman. And Roger Barr. Roger is
sorry about that.
Right there. Either way, either place is fine. Okay. So this is Marcus. He's a businessman in Washington, Iowa, and Roger Barr is a information technology specialist in Newton, Iowa.
I read all the strong points.
He does a lot more than that. In the third district, we have our two district co-chairs there. Matt DeVries, a former state senate candidate from here in town, from Ankeny. And also then John Kabitsky, who's the telecommunications manager with the Air National Guard here in Iowa. And there's John. Fourth district, the last then, is we have James Mills, also a Senate candidate, state Senate candidate, the last cycle. And there's James Mills. And a farmer and agribusinessman in the fourth district, the new fourth, Tom German. Right here is Tom. So again, thank you, fellows. Thanks for coming very much. Appreciate it. And your commitment to this candidate, to Ron Paul, his message, and serving your country in a volunteer capacity. These are all volunteers, and we're working to bring America some real leadership and direction, and that's what this campaign is all about. With that, then, I want to also, there's a special privilege for me to introduce a gentleman that I've gotten to know fairly well in the last few years, and I've come to respect him greatly for his understanding of our heritage as a country, as a nation, and his unusual integrity and his dedication to his country and his courage to act on his patriotism, and he's done that by taking the leap of being a candidate and getting elected. And so from Warren County, the House District 74 State Representative, Glen Massie.
Condensed special, Drew said, Glenn, 3 minutes. Like the official in front of a microphone. So I'm going to try to make this quick. I want to talk very briefly about our past, the present, and what I think the future holds for us. In the past, there was a man named Ron Paul who put together an event up in Minnesota at the Target Center in 2008 called the Rally for the Republic. And I met a lot of patriots there. By patriots, I mean people like George Washington described patriots. Men who would rather die fighting for freedom and liberty, standing on their feet, than live in bondage on their knees to a tyrant. That's what I mean by patriot. Those same individuals got together and we made friends and we networked and we stayed connected. And the 2010 election cycle comes along and the greatest sweep of new blood came into places of power all across this land. We took back the state houses, governors were replaced, The Congress was brought back into a more favorable position, almost took the Senate back. That brings us up to the present. Because of this condensed schedule, I'm going to jump right in. It is my distinct privilege and honor to endorse the good doctor and Congressman Ron Paul for the President of the United States.
Yes, sir! Woo! All right.
I admired Dr. Paul for a number of years for being a principled statesman who has faithfully kept his word to uphold the United States Constitution, even in the face of adversity. In fact, his consistency and loyalty to the Constitution is so pronounced that he has earned the nickname of Dr. No. That's because he refuses to vote for anything that is unconstitutional.
Yeah.
That is exactly the kind of man we need in Washington, in the White House right now, before the last vestiges of our republic are gone forever. Benjamin Franklin was asked at the founding of this nation, "So, what have you wrought?" Or in other words, what type of a government have you given us? And his answer was this: a republic, if you can keep it. Well, the good news is the revolution to preserve our republic is very much alive and well in all 50 states, but especially today here in the state of Iowa. Looking to the future, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is my great privilege to introduce the man whom I think is going to be the next President of the United States, Ron Paul.
Thank all these leaders that have joined us, and these three guys, boy, I'll tell you, there's something else. They've really done the work in this short period of time. I'm really impressed. No wonder I keep coming back here about every week. No, it's really great. It's very encouraging, and the mood of the country has definitely changed. The big question is can we recover it fast enough? And of course, we all know how desperate of the problems that we are. But the enthusiasm is great, so it's a great contest going on. So I am really encouraged when I see people like you coming out and willing to work and knowing what the odds are, but you also know what the stakes are. So that to me is very encouraging. And believe me, I've been doing this for a few years, and it was sort of like working in the vineyards for a long time and not much said about it. But even comparing not only to 20 or 30 years ago, but comparing it to 4 years ago, believe me, things have changed. People are very enthusiastic. But what gets me enthusiastic is people understand the message and know, oh, we're getting excited.
Great.
Enthusiasm for campaigns forever, but for different reasons. But one thing is, this campaign will be enthusiasm for what we believe in and for all those things that have made America great. But I am not going to give a long speech today, and I'm going to be now open for questions.
Great.
What was your reaction to Thursday's statement by President Obama about Israel, Libya, Syria?
Okay. Well, I did put a message out there because I used that as an opportunity to make my point about why I think what we do sometimes is harmful to Israel. And when the president took this position that was at least portrayed as being anti-Israel and leaning toward the Palestinians, I said, well, this is actually the reason Israel shouldn't be so dependent on it. So I was critical of what Obama was saying, and that once you give up your sovereignty, you come up short. And this has been my argument over the years, that Israel has been too willing to give up their sovereignty, take our money, then they have to take their orders from us. And I thought that was more or less what Obama was doing. He was in their face, and it was very, very upsetting to Netanyahu and others. And I am convinced that it's in the best interest of everybody not to be dependent on others. National sovereignty is a good idea. Matter of fact, I even think state sovereignty is a pretty good idea.
Yeah!